let's see, where will we begin? What is your name, sir?
Jonas.
Jonas! You've been spoken to before, have you, Jonas?
I picked a different name this time.
It's alright, sir. Will you mix that up for me, Jonas? That is a Rubik's Cube. As a friend of mine once said, a Rubik's Cube is an awful lot like your cock. The longer you play with it, the harder it gets. So, you have a bit of fun with that for a couple of minutes, Jonas, and I'll come back to you shortly, alright? That's right, folks. I started on a pseudo-intellectual dick joke. Okay. I'm going to tell you something now, and I want you to guess what my research area is. So, hi. My name is Matthew, and I'm a xyrophobic. That means I'm afraid of razors. Yes. I must apologise to anyone in the room who suffers from pogonophobia, which is fear of beards. And after saying xyrophobia and pogonophobia, I must also apologise to anyone suffering from helenologophobia, which is a fear of scientific terminology. And after that, it would be wrong not to apologise to anyone suffering from a fear of long words, which of course is a hippopotamonstrosuscripidaliophobia. There is actually a phobia called phobophobia, which is the fear of phobias. But to anyone suffering from that, all I can say is you have nothing to fear. Oh dear. It is a long way to go for a groaner like that one. But those are just a couple of phobias that I could sort of weave a sort of a narrative through, you know, the ones that I could fit into that hilarious piece of well-crafted wordplay, you know. I mean, there's loads of them out there. There's arachiobutyrophobia, which is the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth and suffocating you. Or my own personal favourite, anatodeophobia, which is the fear that somewhere, somehow, a duck is watching you. It's 100% true, apparently. But, Jonas, have you got that mixed up for me, sir? Good, man yourself. That'll give me something to do on the way home. Nah! I'm kidding. But can anyone guess what my research area actually is?
History.
Well, you're right not to go with phobias or psychology or anything like that, because that was a complete misdirection. My research area is computer science. More specifically, it's computer vision. It's computers that know what they're looking at, you know, and it's very, very eyes for Skynet kind of stuff, really, which I'm not really a big fan of. It's very Big Brother is watching you. But the reason I brought out the Rubik's Cube was, apart from the fact that I can do it, is because you know, computers can now do all sorts of things. They can recognize what they're looking at. There are videos on the internet of robots made of Lego solving a Rubik's Cube in a ridiculously fast time, like under 3 seconds or something like that. It's incredible. Robots are going to replace me, but at the moment they can't tell jokes, you know. But I have heard the Lego movie is quite funny, so shite. But no, my research specifically is in person profiling in CCTV, which is sort of gender recognition specifically. I'm sort of programming a system that a CCTV camera walking down the street could look at you walking down the street and go, is that a male? Is that a female? You know, oh yeah, comedian telling jokes about the difference between men and women. How original, you know. But no, basically I've built a high-tech breast detector, you know. I haven't. But no, there are things that, you know, that do sort of, there are visual cues that would tell you whether someone is male or female, you know, broad shoulders in males, wide hips in females, things like that. And basically with computer vision, what you do is you take an image, you break it down into a statistical representation of that image, a numerical representation of something that says about the features in that image, and you fire a whole bunch of examples, like here's 100 male examples, here's 100 female examples into an artificial intelligence learning algorithm, and you go, oh, what can you blindly see about what these things represent, and then I'm trying to multitask here. It's a disaster. But you know, what can you see here? Can you, as a computer, see any sort of patterns here? And then you come along with new examples, new examples of male and female, and say, based on what you've learned already in your training, what what do you think these are? And I had some reasonable success with that. And then I went, okay, still images, there's only so much you can say about still images. What about if we move into sort of more dynamic information, movement? If we can look at movement, maybe that would be better, because we know when people are walking down the street, hip swagger in females, things like that, or whatever. There's more there. If someone's walking down the street and you can't see them that clearly, there's more visual cues there. So what I did was I recorded a data set of people walking on a treadmill. And basically I recorded this and I gathered lots of information. Now the point was, it was gender recognition research. And the thing about gender recognition research is realistically you want a gender balanced data set, Now, in the computer science department of a university, that can be a little difficult. But I pushed for it. I did push for it. I had a disagreement with my supervisor, because my supervisor was kind of like, oh, no, the data set isn't that important. The priority is that we get, we do the research, we work on the representation or whatever. We'll use my class. We'll use my class every year. I have a class of students. We build it up over the years, and we have a captive audience there. And we'll just work with that. And I went, that's all right, Paul, but your class is basically 13 males and 2 females at this point, and like over the years you're just going to get a gender skewed database, and that's no good to me, And he went, yeah, but you can do class A versus class B, like the thing I described before, or you could do class A versus not class A. You can train a system to recognize young males or whatever, and then train it, say, is this a young male? If it's not a young male, you can do that. And I said, that's fair enough, Paul. But his point was, let's face it, that's who we're interested in. Young males in hoodies hanging about, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I'm opposed to that. I don't like that. I'm very uncomfortable with that, And I suppose technically, he maybe has a point, because the goal of artificial intelligence and computer vision as a whole is to build a system that looks and that acts and thinks like the human mind. So if we can build a system that's prejudiced, success. But no, I pushed back on that. I wasn't a big fan of that. I pushed back on it, and I did manage to get my gender balanced data set. But the one thing that did amuse me was I managed to convince the university to let me buy a treadmill to study the difference between male and female. They rejected the proposal to buy a trampoline, but ladies and gentlemen, I better wrap up. The worst part is I can't even do this. I'm just stalling for time to swap it out for this one. But no, I'm kidding. I'm practically finished, so I better finish it before I go. But because if you get up on stage with a Rubik's Cube and you don't finish it, it's very, very anticlimactic. It's also very distracting. It's been distracting you from what I've been saying. It's been distracting me from what I've been doing as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Good night.